Buckle up. This is good. This is a couple with a couple kids at home. Wife doesn't work. They have 2 houses.
Okay.
But they got a buttload of debt. Like you're gonna be blown away when you see this.
I'm just gonna write debt.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have 2 pages to write down all the debt.
Okay.
And so what they want to know is, should they keep their rental or should they turn around and sell it? Ready to go?
Sure, we'll give it a shot.
Okay.
So when you say boatload of debt, like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about? Break this debt down for me.
Okay. Yeah. So buckle up. This is good. So they have an F-150 2020. They owe $40,000 on it, and their monthly payment on it is $600 a month. Then they have a 2022 Highlander, and their monthly payment on that is $608 a month.
How much do they owe on it?
They owe $32,000, and it's worth
$608, $32.
And what they're saying is worth $40,000. So the F-150 is a bust, right? Yeah. Because if they sell it, they break even. Mm-hmm. The Highlander, they have about $8,000 of equity in it. Now, again, it's not realized unless it's sold. Mm-hmm. But this is the Highlander. Then they have an RV, because if you live in Idaho, you got to have an RV.
Of course.
Their RV payment is
even though they only use them 3 times a year. So
yeah, $660 a month.
By the way, did you know RVs are the best investment of all time?
Of course they are.
They appreciate by 10% a year, just so people know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kidding. So.
I know you're kidding.
I mean, during the vid years they did, but
yeah,
not anymore.
COVID years?
So,
oh, man.
don't say that word on YouTube.
I'm sorry.
Just kidding.
The sick years? So here's the bad part about an RV. They owe $30,000 on it, but it's only worth $25,000. So they have negative.
So it looks like they're moving into the RV. Hopefully it's a nice one.
Negative $5,000 in equity. Okay. And then they pulled out a HELOC. Their HELOC payment is $419 a month for the HELOC. And the thing about the HELOC is it's interest-only payment. Mm-hmm. Now, here's what's surprising. They have about $50,000 in savings. That's pretty good. I mean, most people that we've talked to don't have that kind of money sitting around when they have accumulated all these debts. Mm-hmm. But, I skipped over the credit card debts. Okay,
let's get into those too. What do we got?
Oh. They owe around $16,000 on one credit card, and it's they have a 0% interest on both of these credit cards.
0%?
0% interest.
For how long?
It's I think my guess is one of those 12-month periods.
So, I mean, that could be really dangerous.
It could be dangerous.
12 months comes up, it goes to 30%. So
one of the credit cards is $115 a month. The other one is $165 a month. Again, interest free.
Well, those are dangerous.
So we're going to put CC next to this for credit card.
Mom's got to get off Amazon.
Close that Amazon account.
Or Dad's got to get away from Home Depot, whatever's going on there. So
yeah. Okay, so then they have about $50,000 in savings. They bring home around $12,500 a month, and it's all commissions. So he's a car salesman. Oof. Now, here's the thing about this, and I think this is why they're bringing up this question, is they realize they have a lot of debts. They're selling cars, but cars aren't selling as much, and so right. I think he's worried that the commissions is going to drop. His $12,000 a month in car sales is going to drop. Okay. So that's why they called us, and they said, should we keep the rental? Should we sell it? So let's break down these 2 properties, okay? So they own the house that they're living in has a mortgage on it, and then the house that they are renting has a mortgage on it as well. Okay? So house number 1.
Primary.
House number 1 is worth $600,000.
Okay.
And they owe $285 on it. Now, nobody likes moving, so I think we just leave that house alone.
Okay.
The rental. So this will be house number 2. It's worth $550,000. And this is, again, according to them. And then they owe $399.
Okay.
So
you said $550?
$550.
Okay. All right.
So what do you think? You think they should keep that rental?
Or
do you think they should get rid of it?
Well, There's a lot to take in here.
Yeah, I told you it's gonna be a good one.
First just look.
No, you don't know.
I mean, it's hard to break everything down because
hefty.
I don't know their situation. It's by just strictly looking at what's going
Well,
on.
let's look at the economy first, right? If they're in sales and
So-
they're in car sales, that commission's probably coming down.
Right. And I just want to. So you're saying their primaries were 600 and they owe 285 on it. Mm-hmm. So they have a possibility of equity of 315 right there.
Yeah, I mean, but there's closing costs.
Yeah. Well, my initial thought is they abandon their idea. They move into the rental and sell their primary. I don't know how long they've been in that property. I mean, and they can cash out on capital gains and not pay taxes on, 315 or some change or whatever equity they're going to be left with.
Okay, so let's break down these two scenarios.
Okay.
So you're saying move out of the primary, move into the rental.
I'm saying, and you're saying these current numbers you ran this morning for the market, 600, and
These are numbers that they feel like whether they got it.
okay, so they think it's going to sell at 6.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go off that. So yeah, I mean, to me right away by looking at all this, what's going on these numbers, I mean, me personally, I would. I'm all about keeping rentals, but at this point, I'd abandon ship, sell the primary, cash out, pay off all the debt, move into the rental. So here's the cool thing: is the rental. I'm assuming since it's a rental, they already have a conventional loan on it.
Yeah. So
they're not having to refinance if they want to move out of it. Is what I'm saying. So
yes,
they have a conventional loan on there. They pay everything off. They move into that house, reestablish themselves, correct this mess that they're in, and then potentially maybe look at a different situation or a different house.
Okay. So let's break this down. So house number one, they moved, which everybody loves moving.
Well, yeah. But how much do you love crushing debt?
Yeah. Well, let's find out right here. Okay, so they're going to sell their house for $600,000. What I think it'd be fair to say we normally just say 93% of what your sales price is what you're going to take home, right? That adds closing costs from agents to title companies to paying off taxes, that kind of stuff. Is that a fair number for us to use today? Okay, so that means after they sell their house and pay their closing costs, there's going to be essentially $558,000. That's what will be after. Okay, so and they owe $285. Mm-hmm. All right. So minus $285. Ooh, oops.
You got a math this morning.
So they're going to have $273,000 of equity. That's a pretty good payday.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then I'm looking at the rental house though. I mean,
So
scenario
one with this 273, what do they start taking out? I mean, what do you think is the first thing they're going to take out?
debt wise, I say a nuclear bomb on the debt and get it all.
But which debt? Right. So
Let's
go
so
back
I would
through these
say,
debts.
like me, I avidly hate credit cards because they're so tricky and people don't realize that the interest rates vary so much. So these credit cards, even though they have 0% on it, and they, say they are at a 12-month lock at 0, as soon as month 13 hits or 12 months in one day, any expenses they've accrued or whatever the terms on there, it goes to 30%. I mean, 24 to 30%.
Okay.
And that's massive. I mean, that all said.
So we're gonna. I think you and I are gonna agree. We're not touching savings. Savings is emergency fund for a
I would
rainy
leave
day.
that alone.
Leave that alone. So what we're gonna do is crush debt with the $273,000. Is that right? Okay. So we're gonna wipe out credit cards.
Yeah,
Both?
To preface this, since we haven't really talked about the savings account, yeah, you could pay all that debt off, but to me, the situation they're currently in, looking at everything, save the $50,000 for emergency funds in case something goes seriously wrong. You have that $273,000 potentially tax free right there. Mm-hmm. That's called a nuclear debt bomb that just obliterates everything.
One thing I forgot is we're gonna have to take out that HELOC because if they sell their primary, I don't think people get HELOCs on their secondary. So I think that. I mean, you can, but most
I thought
people
that was
take
on
it
the rental. Was that on the rental or is that the primary?
I think we're going to assume it's on the primary.
Okay.
So that has to be paid off, which is 32.
How much is owed on that?
They owed $32,000.
Okay, well, it's still not a big deal.
So we're at $241,000 that we can play with here.
That's massive.
Right.
I mean, just get rid of it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's insane.
So we're going to eliminate scenario one. We're eliminate credit card one of $16,000. Mm-hmm. We're going to eliminate credit card number two of $19,800. That leaves them with $205,000.
Right. I mean, potentially they're up on the Highlander. You said about 8,000. They could sell that, recoup there, but most families do need 2 vehicles.
Yeah.
You don't need, they want.
Right.
But it's really nice, and it doesn't cause marital issues if you're down to 1 vehicle. So
Yeah.
I would say.
So are you saying tackle these the RV and car loans? Are we going to pay all those off?
How much is the payment on the RV?
RV $660 a month.
That's substantial. Why is it so high? Must got a high interest rate on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think interest rates right now are 10%. They didn't tell us what the interest rate was.
Oh, yeah.
We just got how much they owe, how much it's worth in the payment.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
so let's just assume scenario 1, they wipe out every single debt, right?
yeah.
And I know some people are going to disagree with this,
100%.
but let's say, okay, so they wiped out the RV, they wiped out the Highlander debt, and they wiped out their truck
Get
debt.
rid of it.
So they're sitting debt free, and they still have $100,000.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
That's fantastic. And
So
they
much
could
they
take
could do.
that $100,000, they could throw it in a high yield savings account, and then they can wait for another rental opportunity to come up if they want.
Or they could go buy a brand new TRX.
Yeah,
For
or go buy another car.
I'm just kidding. Don't do that. So
Okay, so
yeah, that's scenario 1.
1,
That's how you eliminate all the debt, and
just-
they're in a good position. But that's not really what they want to do, right?
eliminate all debts. And that leaves them with, essentially within what's sitting in the bank is $153,000.
Plus their 50. Or is that with their 50?
I just added
Okay.
that. Okay. Scenario number 2. Now, instead of moving around, they could just sell the rental, but then they're gonna have some things that we talk about. So let's just scenario number 2. They sell the rental because they love their primary house and they don't want to move.
Okay.
Okay. So scenario number 2 is they sell it for $550. So closing costs on that, what did we say? They're going to take home 93% of that. Okay, so they're going to take away, after closing costs and everything, they're going to walk away with $500. And we're not going to go into taxes because that's a sticky thing, because we don't know what their basis and all that kind of stuff was. But long-term capital gains is anywhere from 15 to 20%. But we're just going to assume $511,000. They owe $399, so let's take that off. That leaves them with this is going to be a completely different scenario, my friend. They only have $112,000 to play with.
Well, you say we're not going to get to taxes, but they need to pre-plan because it's an investment home. That's not their primary.
Okay, so
And we know they're going to probably be hit with capital gains on that if they go to sell. So we have to add that in there.
okay, so let's do that then.
Because do not be the people who sell their homes and don't realize that you have to pay taxes on those property gains there.
Yeah, when it's an investment property.
Unless you got write-offs.
Yeah. So let's say out of that 112, they get to take home 85%. Is that fair?
Yeah. Government likes to take more like 50, but sure.
So after taxes, that leaves them with
Wiped out.
900.
95,625.
Yeah, $95,625.
Okay. So
Okay.
still a substantial amount.
Still a substantial amount. And remember, they still have $50,000 in savings. Okay.
Yeah. So scenario 2 here, they take that amount and they're gonna have to probably add that, eliminate their emergency fund, add that together to eliminate that debt.
I don't think so. I think you leave the emergency fund alone, and I think maybe you I would say knock out credit cards and your HELOC, because those are the HELOC and the credit cards are variable. Your RV, your Highlander, your truck, those are going to be fixed rates, and maybe there's going to be money left over to do that. But I say you take that $95,000 and you throw it all towards debt, and you don't touch your savings. So if they were to do that, let's just say they wiped out the HELOC, which is $32,000. They take away the credit card debt because that's going to jump up to probably a 26% interest rate. They wipe out the $16,000 credit card debt. That leaves them with $27,000. So then they can choose. So they owe $30,000 on the RV. They can't pay off unless they tap into their emergency savings. They can't pay off the RV, the Highlander, or the truck. They could choose one of them and tap into their emergency savings a little bit. I mean, at $27,825, they could probably tap into their emergency savings, leave them with $48,000, and pay off the RV. Or they sell the RV.
Yeah. But they're going to be negative on that.
Yeah, I mean, they take $25,000 of it. They take 5,000 out of the 27,000.
Right. Yeah.
But then that still leaves them a nest egg for those commissions that might be dying up. One, you got to cut up them credit cards, dude. Like,
Yeah,
you got
those
to
are
cut those up.
substantial. And those are dangerous because the balances, like I said, that 30% will hit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden those will skyrocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So scenario 2 looks like it could possibly work if they were in love with their house, right?
Yeah. So scenario 2, they pay off credit cards, HELOC, and then they take out either I would just say, and the RV.
Yeah. My danger zone with that is they have less money than the first scenario, obviously. And if they continue the spending habits they have, they're going to be back in the same situation. Minus a house.
$0. Actually, sorry, that's incorrect. They have 48,000 left.
Yeah. But their spending habits indicate that cash they do have left over could be blown to pieces. But they are saving. So, I don't know the situation. They are saving money, but they're spending a lot of money too. So it could be a double-edged sword there.
Okay, so what if they absolutely have to have that rental? Scenario number 3. Keeping the rental.
Well, they asked if they should sell or keep it.
Right. So in our opinion, they should sell it.
Well, let's go on our final verdicts afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
But I do have a third scenario.
What's the third scenario?
Okay, third scenario. This is going to be extremely drastic and crazy for most people.
Okay.
But if somebody is, I don't know their situation, if they're crushed by debt, if they're fighting, if this is a big problem in life, sell both. Move into the RV. Fix your life. Save all that money. And then buy real estate that you really want or that you can appreciate and not be stuck in this debt trap.
So
That's
sell it all
Sell it all.
and be homeless.
Well, you're not homeless. They got an RV and they got a truck. Hey, they could travel the U.S.
They could.
I'm sure it'll be great for relationships and the family.
Yeah.
For 2 days. No, that's worst case scenario, but it's not out of lines. Some people do that. Mm-hmm. Some people see this and they're just like get overwhelmed and they're like, you know what? We got an RV. Let's go travel for 6 months to a year. Do I agree with that? No. Would I do that? No. But some people would if they're in that situation. If I was pushed to limits, I might consider that. But
yeah. So I think the simplest way to do this is we take away, we subtract out the.
If they live in the RV, they sell everything except the truck and the RV. That's all they're left with. It's the truck payment and the RV payment.
Well, remember if they scenario scenario 1, they're paying off everything and they were left with 153,000. Right. So I think what we do here is we would do 153,000 because that's them paying off everything, mm-hmm. and then you add in the 95,000. So they take 240,000, completely debt free, own nothing other than their cars and their RV, and then they go travel.
Yeah, at that point you have $250-ish thousand.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay a little tax on that because of the rental you sold, but...
No, we calculated
you eliminated those. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, that's substantial. Depending on their life, that's very drastic, but some people do it.
That is crazy.
Some people say...
I think we should...
abandon ship, cash out, go live life for a little bit, come back and reevaluate the real estate market when it corrects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, gets to a better position for most people. Because either or, if they sell, even if they sell these, but then they decide to go buy a home, I don't know the interest rates on here if we went over that or not, but okay, they sell these, now they're going to get in a house they're potentially going to overpay for, mm-hmm. and potentially going to have a massive interest rate on. Right. So now they're like...
Yeah, they're so the two different interest rates were like 2.95 and 3.25.
Oh, yeah. So they sell those, then it's just a nightmare.
They lose it. So I think scenario 4, though, is I don't think scenario 4 is an option. I don't think keeping it is an option.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen, unless all of a sudden he has some crazy good months, they're super tight on spending, but they can't really be tight on spending. They have how much? We never even calculated how much they have a month going to debt. So they have $600 plus $708 plus $660 plus $115 plus $165 plus $419. So just debts, not including their house debts. So just like non-asset debts, they're at $2,667 a month.
Right.
So let's say a tenant's not paying. Now all of a sudden that jumps up $2,000 a month. Plus they have their primary mortgage. They're spending around $6,200 a month just in debt.
Right. So this is why I'm not even bringing up his sales job and the rental income and all that stuff, because this situation to me looks really dire. So they have to make drastic decisions to pay that debt off.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about his sales job and income and all that, but to me, like just me looking at it, if I was a friend of his, I'd be like, let's help you get out of this situation. Let's figure this out.
Yeah. I think if he wasn't in sales and he had a steady income job,
but nothing's steady.
Right, but I mean, they have 50,000. I mean, they're saving. I think if he had a steady job, it wasn't based off sales, and he's been in a company for a while with and the company looks strong, healthy, I think I'd keep the rental.
Yeah,
but with him being in sales and it's commission based, I don't know. I mean, how long will it take for that $50,000 to erode?
Quick.
Because this isn't even living. We're just doing. It'll take 8 months for him to erode that.
I mean, we know this. We put videos out. Statistically, savings are being crushed. Inflation's crushing people. Things are not as good as the media likes to portray it. And some people are doing really well, but a lot of people are doing really bad. And I think that's where I keep going perspective of a debt bomb and just getting rid of everything. Yeah. Because it's ultimate power when you don't have that debt and you can make choices. And that's, I always talk about the RV life, but man, maybe one day I'll just end up doing that too. So I don't know if my wife will be happy with that. Would your wife be very happy with that?
Dude, I've done it.
Could you do it? No. I'm talking sell everything.
Yeah, I did that.
Go live in an RV.
I did. Yeah. When I was...
You did?
Oh, yeah. Our very first house. We sold our house, bought a camper, lived in that camper. We only lasted about 6 months. But I stayed on a buddy's piece of land. And we had 2 kids. The worst part about it is we found that there was a leak in the camper because we bought a used one thinking we're going to save money, all this kind of stuff. We found a leak. So we're coming into winter. We had to completely gut the camper, rebuild the camper inside, all with 2 kids. And we did that live.
That's insane. Like, I know it doesn't seem feasible for a lot of people, but imagine if you did that, if you just took like a hiatus for like a year and just surplused your income and just eliminate all that debt and just revamp.
He won't have any income if he's traveling. I mean, I guess if he's living in the RV and he's not traveling.
Yeah, no, I'm saying he's still working. I'm not saying just abandon all your job and responsibilities in life and just travel around. I'm saying you have more freedom to do that. You get limit all that debt and all that stress, and now you have all this freedom to go be with your kids and your family and go do things and work. And maybe his commission sales job, maybe he can do some remote. I don't know. Yeah. That seems to be the trend nowadays, anyways.
Maybe he wants to be a YouTuber.
Okay, well, good luck with that. 'Cause that's not a life for many that you want to live. But I don't know. Crazy scenario here. I wish him the best.
So scenario: keep it, sell it. We're saying sell it. We're saying sell it. Now, whether that you sell both or, to me, the better situation, if you didn't love your primary house and you could do it, I would say move into your rental.
Yeah, my consensus is 1 of 2. Scenario 1, sell the primary, move into the rental, fix your debt, or if they can't fathom that and it's still too much, abandon ship, sell everything off, move in the RV.
Yeah.
Which that's easy for me to say now, but that's what it's saying. This would be really good to have this person on to actually get more details.
See if they'd be willing to.
I don't think this is out of the ordinary too. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of Americans and a lot of people are actually in this situation, as we know. I mean, debt's at all-time high. People are being crushed. Most people live negative paycheck to paycheck. I mean, they're going in debt every single month. Right. I think this is a scenario that should be really addressed, and it could be scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.